Okay, so today's shoot, I'm just going to use two speedlights and a reflector. It doesn't matter what brand speedlights. I'm using the Profoto ones, but it doesn't matter. You can be using the Godox V1s or any one really, that has a remote. They all work the same. This grip, though, from Magmod for the hot shoot, I love this thing. These things are, I think they have a new one of these out too, but you can get them on their site. It's one of the best things they've ever made, and probably the best grip ever made for flash. Love them. Anyway, so I'll be using two of these on the stands that I always use. I love these stands. I do have them. I'll link them in my description below with the equipment that I use today. The other thing is this. This is the Manfrotto Lasolite reflector, and it just breaks down. The really cool part about this, this is the arms that I always use too, the magic arms. I can't live without these things. Anyway, the cool thing about this is it's carried in this. This whole thing is in here. It's kind of a pain to set up. It takes a little bit longer than a pop-up. But I love that it has the 1/4 20 on here. I love that it has the handle. It's extremely lightweight. It doesn't arch and wobble and stuff. And I have the white and silver, and I also have the translucent, for diffusion. But really nice reflector. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick shoot to show you that I'm not using. One other thing I'm going to use. This is the Profoto Soft Bounce. It's just on top of the flash. In a pinch, it works. It does a nice job, but not the greatest thing in the world, but it'll work. It softens the light a little bit. That's basically what you want. Anyway, enjoy the shoot. If you have any questions, leave them below. But I just wanted to show you that a lot of people are saying, hey, I don't have high ceilings, so I can't do that down light. Well, this here, with the light flashing up in it, you have the downlight. You don't need a lot of room, not a lot of ceiling room. Even if you have it here and you bounce the strobe into it, put a grid on it or put the barn doors. I'm going to use the barn doors on it to, block light. This could be a giant downlight like you'd get from a big umbrella or a softbox. Does the same thing. Yeah, it's not going to be controllable, but how much control do you need, really, unless you're trying to sell a softbox. Otherwise, how much do you really need? Anyway, enjoy the shoot, and I'll answer any questions you have. Thanks. Okay, first and foremost, I really apologize for the tooth. It just looks so bad. I didn't realize how bad it looked until I saw this video. And, I'm guessing some dentists don't want to work on Christmas, so I have to deal with it until sometime mid-January. So I'm starting out with the Profoto Soft Bounce and a backlight and a reflector. And the backlight, I just have the barn doors on. I like the barn doors better than the grids. Grids really do eat up a lot of light. So if I can get away with barn doors, in most cases, I will. Anyway, so this soft bounce, it's not the greatest thing in the world, and the magnets on this thing aren't the greatest. You bounce that, it's like a little bump, it's going down. And then I'm going to bring in the reflector on the side because it's so contained, that light, that it's going to be shadowed quite a bit. Now, I have the camera set up where you're not using any of the ambient light here. The window light will not come into play at all here. So I'm going to need the reflector, and I'm using the silver side because it's, I have that light a pretty good distance away, and I'm keeping the reflector a good distance away. So, but you'll see by the light that this thing produces, it's really, really nice light. And a lot of issues that people have with these small reflectors is they just don't aim them correctly, and they get frustrated. Move them a little bit each time until you get the right angles. Even with the reflectors, just move and angle it right so you get a good look. Now this next one, I'm bouncing the strobe into the white side of the reflector. Now for a lot of you, that say, hey, I don't have the room, I don't have the ceiling height for that downlighting, this is how you can do it, honestly. it works fantastic. You know, you can move that light somewhere else or, you know, further down, whatever you want to do. But this way you can get that down lighting that you like that you can't fit with, you know, a typical softbox or umbrella, you know, because you don't have the height. This is just a flat piece. Throw the light up into it, you get your down light. Others will complain that, oh, you can't control this. Well, you know, there are times where you really need to control the light, granted, but most of the time you don't, because the fall off that everybody's talking about or the quick fall off isn't even in the frame that your photo's in. I think that argument is more for selling a new softbox or whatever, and the people that use these extreme parabolics, soft boxes that are, you know, 3 feet deep, and then they throw a diffusion on the front saying how great a parabolic is. It's just stupid. Once you throw a diffusion on the front of a parabolic, it's just a soft box or an umbrella. You got to remember that a parabolic is made to be used without a diffusion on the front. Others will argue that you get more power out of it. Yeah, you get maybe a tenth of a stop more power out of it, that type of box than you would a regular box. Anyway, here's the white side, soft light, very nice. You can see the soft shadow, you know, behind her to the left. And I'm using the hair light or rim light or whatever you want to call it. This is the setup. It's just this simple. You know, that magic arm and that diffuser, and you can use any diffuser. Don't get hung up on this one. It's just expensive as hell. So you can use any diffuser. I like it because it fits in a bag when I travel, versus the ones that you collapse down, you know. And this is pretty big for a bag that small, honestly. And with the diffusion panel and the white and silver, you have so much you can do with this reflector. And I will put the link to it in my description below, because I do love that reflector. I use it continually. I hate the pop-ups because they twist and drive me nuts. Anyway, this is the silver side. You'll see it's a lot punchier. You're going to see the shadow is a lot more defined. That brings out the material. You can see it in her face. I love this hard look, so I do use it quite a bit. The only time I don't like silver reflectors is when it's underneath them in the highlighter. I just can't make it work right for me. It drives me crazy. Now this is going to be interesting. So I'm putting the light in the back. So my goal is to have it brush past her for a hair light, push it into the reflector, and have that come back and bounce on her and light it. This is another thing. This will frustrate the hell out of you when you start this, because you have to aim everything correctly. And you get better with time, but it's still not perfect. You really have to shoot, look at it, move. This isn't an automatic thing. It isn't a one time and I'm going to get it right every time. It just doesn't work that way. So I'm also using the backlight on this side. I want that look, which I love. But you'll see when I start this, obviously, if you're using common sense, you're going to know what the hell's wrong to start. And, should I have known this? Yes. I've been doing this for so long, the light's going to blare. I don't have that thing set up correctly. It's not pointed at her. It's off to the side. So I make adjustments, simple as that. Just you adjust, take a picture, look at it, and readjust. That's all you have to do. If you just try to use light and practice with it, and like here, now I'm off to the side. It's too much on the side of her face. I did have some glare up in the top. I just cut it off on that. And these were straight out of camera. So all I'm doing is I'm putting the grid on that back side because I don't have another barn door. I'm putting the barn door on this one. That'll stop the light from coming hitting the camera, the backdrop, and it's going to aim it, or contain it to the reflector itself with just a touch on her hair. And this should do it for me, in theory. And there it is. I mean, it's nice lighting. I'm getting the best of both worlds with the light on both sides for separation. I'm getting nice light on her face and body. This is a nice little setup, and this is just 2 speed lights and a reflector. So practice this stuff. Try it. And same thing with the power of the lights. I mean, if it's too bright, well, you turn it down. It's I know it's frustrating, and I know it can be frustrating, but you have to remember that it can be done very easily. Now this shot, I want to use the barn doors because I want this, slim light on her. Not like the sliver light, but just I want to contain so I have control over the light. Once, and this was my first try. Obviously, I didn't reset anything. It doesn't have a reflector and it's not bouncing off anything. It's a straight light, so obviously I have to adjust. I'm going to narrow down the barn doors quite a bit, as tight as they'll go, because even when they're just sliver tight, at this distance and that plastic barn door, it spreads light no matter what you do. Anyway, this is the shot after adjustments. I love it. I love what you can do with a bear like that, a bear flash in a barn door or anything else really. Even with the grids, it's nice. And again, grids, you're going to take the power up. But play with this stuff and have fun with it. You don't need big studio lights to start this stuff. And the nice part is when you're practicing with these small lights and you get good at it, by the time you do get studio lights, if you ever want to get the studio lights, these things are going to be ready to go. I was just changing out a battery there because this is the second shoot I did with that Speedlight, and the battery finally was close to dead. Now I'm doing bare flash. I'm shooting down with the bare flash because I want that shadow. I want to see that shadow of the cowboy hat on the backdrop, for that look. And again, just fine adjustments. That reflector isn't doing anything at all. It's just sitting there. But you can see the harsh shadow. I love the look. It's a fun look. And you can do a lot with it. You move it back a little bit, it's going to be a little, back towards the backdrop more. It'll be a little bit more dramatic with side light. Move it forward more, it's going to be, flatter light. Just grab a speed light, one or two, a reflector, and again, you can use anything for a reflector. Don't go buying a $100 reflector if you're not going to use it, or not going to be able to pay for it with justified pay for it. How's that? Use whatever you have, and you can clip, those plastic clips. I clipped them on the light stand so many times, the reflectors, instead of buying an expensive arm. And they do have generics of those arms, by the way. It's not only Manfrotto. I think I put one of each in my descriptions there. The cheap ones work really well, honestly. The Manfrotto ones, there was a sale on it, so I grabbed it. I loved it, and I have the two different sizes too. And they do come in handy. Anyway, this was the shoot. It was a lot of fun to play and experiment with this. And this is the last one is going to be bounce back up into that. I did zoom the head on the flash for this to pop it into that reflector. For this one, the first one I didn't. I just left it as is, and it probably would have been helpful if I did. But I wasn't using that much power, so it didn't really matter to me. It just worked. So, but try this. And again, even if you had a white wall, you can do the same thing with a white wall. If you don't have a studio and you're just walking out and about, you just find a wall that's white or cream. You can do post-production, color correction for that, or shoot a gray card. This is a lot of fun with Speedlights. And the bigger that wall is or reflector, the more light you can spill out into her, and the softer you can make it by putting it closer or further. But anyway, that's my shoot for today. I'm sick of talking because I have nothing else to say, I don't think. But have fun with it. Try it. If you have any questions, ask. I'm sorry about the dancing, but I haven't seen her for quite a while. She's been away at college, so it was great to see her and shoot with her again. Anyway, thank you again for watching. And by the way, I really appreciate all the well wishes for the holidays and New Year's. You guys are really extremely nice, and I appreciate the good thoughts and the wishes. Thank you. Have a great day.